Do you want to know why you spend months and even years at the gym and don't have the results to show for it? In this video, I'll reveal the second of 5 basic weightlifting principles that can help you transform your body. Hey guys, I'm Simeon, and in this video I'll tell you about the second basic principle of weightlifting that can help you unlock your genetic potential. But first, I'm not a doctor, personal trainer, or nutritionist, and nothing that I say on this channel should be construed as medical advice. All of the information provided on this channel is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and you should always consult with your personal doctor before undergoing any diet or exercise plan. Welcome back guys. So today we'll be discussing the second letter of my acronym, which stands for intensity. Intensity is arguably the most important factor in achieving your results. The intensity or amount of effort that you put into your workout directly correlates to your results. So the greater the intensity, the greater your results. Now, there are a number of ways you can increase the intensity of your workout. Those can include listening to music, using stimulants like caffeine and other pre-workout supplements that can help you concentrate, and finally, using workout intensity increasing techniques. Just as a side note, I will have a whole separate video later on about supplements and stimulants because there are a number of safe and proven ones like caffeine, beta-alanine, creatine, citrulline malate, and beet juice, but you really need to know when and how to take them and often can't rely on pre-mixed supplements from the store. Leaving that aside for another time, in this video I'll discuss 3 of the most effective intensity increasing techniques. And stick around until the end because I'll also tell you about a couple of techniques that are often used but are not as effective and sometimes even borderline counterproductive. So let's get into it. The first intensity increasing technique, and my absolute favorite, is drop setting. As the name implies, this technique works by progressively decreasing the weight being lifted within the fast twitch muscle fiber range without taking the needed rest. This technique basically helps you activate a much larger amount of fast twitch muscle fiber in just one set. The enormous increase in muscle overload results in your mTOR jacking up your anabolic growth to the max, which results into better results for you. Just to give you a visual, if I can lift 100 pounds for 8 reps and can't do any more, I don't just drop the weight and rest for 2 minutes until my next set. Instead, without taking a break, I drop this weight and get the 80 pound and do as many repetitions as I can. And if I do another 10 and can't do any more without compromising my form, but I feel like I have a little bit more energy, then I drop the weight to 60 pounds and do some more. Only then do I rest. Oh, and by the way, this counts for just one set. You should also note that I did not drop the weight from 100 pounds to 20 pounds, even though that would have been much easier. The reason being because you don't want to give your body contradictory signals. When you're lifting heavy weights, your body gets the signal that it needs to grow those muscles to handle larger weights. On the other hand, if you drop to a weight that is too easy, your body reverts to using slow twitch muscle fibers and is torn between size and endurance. For some sports, that may be the right thing to do, depending on what each individual athlete's goals are. But for most people like me who sit in an office and want to get the most out of their workout, this is not the right thing to do. From this example, you can see how much more intense this way of lifting is when compared to just going through the motion of 4 sets of 10 reps each. And because this technique is so intense, you have to know when and how often to incorporate it. Because some amount of stress is needed for adaptation, but too much of it can set you back or result in an injury. Generally, how often you use drop setting depends on your level of fitness. Beginning with just 1 set and eventually progressing is always advisable. After 25 years of lifting, on a good day, I can drop set 3 of 5 sets for 2 to 3 of the 5 exercises that I do in a training session. Also, I use drop setting in a targeted way for muscles that I would like to grow. As a natural, you have a very limited amount of energy, so you have to pick and choose your battles. Look at yourself in the mirror and decide which muscles need more work. Only then use drop setting to focus on those specific muscles. So that is something that you have to gauge for yourself, and it depends on many subjective factors that can change from month to month, week to week, and even workout to workout. The next intensity increasing technique is supersetting. Supersetting is another really good technique that can increase the intensity of your workout and save you a whole lot of time. How supersetting works is by performing 2 or 3 consecutive exercises before resting. You should know that there are numerous variations on which muscles to include in the superset. Some people superset with different exercises on the same muscle. This is usually done to activate the muscles from different angles, or it could also be done by using different ways to load the muscle, like free weights versus cables. In this example, although training on the same muscles, cables or resistance bands provide a different way of loading the muscle throughout the range of movement than free weights. A second way that some people superset is by using completely different muscles. This could be the main muscle that you're working on for the day, like your chest for example, but also you could throw in a support muscle like the triceps. Of course, supersetting with support muscles is always a bit tricky because it could affect your power output for the main muscle. Or instead of a support muscle, it could be a completely different muscle like calves, if for example you're trying to focus on them. But the one that I found to be the most effective is supersetting with antagonist or opposite in function muscles. Such muscles work in synergy with each other, where the body instinctively contracts the agonist muscle while relaxing the antagonist muscle. In other words, I often do this with biceps and triceps, chest and back, quads and hamstrings. This technique is absolutely great for people who are doing an upper-lower body workout split. And by the way, I'll have a whole separate video on the types of workout splits and their benefits and drawbacks. Just to give you a visual of supersetting antagonist muscles, if the main purpose of the biceps is flexion of the arm at the elbow, the main purpose of the triceps is extension of the arm at the elbow. So working on arms, I can alternate the biceps and triceps exercises, and while I'm working on one side, the other side will be actively resting, and the synergy of both muscles being fired up gives you a better pump and allows you to lift much more weight than if you just do 2 bicep exercises on a back day. One more thing you should remember is that there are variations where you can do 1 set for the biceps and 1 set for the triceps and then rest, meaning that you're truly working simultaneously on both muscles. I find this combination results in the greatest pump. But there are also variations where you can finish your 4 or 5 sets for the biceps, then do 4 or 5 sets for the triceps and then go back. This combination is good for when the gym is full of people and you don't want to look like you're hoarding equipment, but you still want to get a great pump. Finally, the last workout intensity increasing technique that you need to incorporate into your workout is performing negative repetitions. Negative repetitions refers to the eccentric or extending part of the lift. In our example, when I curl the dumbbell, this is the concentric phase or shortening of the muscle. In fact, the overwhelming scientific consensus is that when we extend the muscle, or the eccentric phase, is when most of the muscle fiber gets damaged and we're actually able to slowly lower a much larger weight than we can lift up. This again acts as a huge stimulus for the body to boost muscle growth. So how you perform negative repetitions is by doing as many repetitions as you can by yourself, and then a partner helps you lift the weight concentrically and releases the weight so you can lower it slowly down in the eccentric phase. You can do this by yourself as well if you're doing a 1-arm exercise when you can use the other arm to assist you. And here we get to the last part of the video where I tell you about less productive or even counterproductive workout intensity increasing techniques that are often taught by inexperienced personal trainers. The first one and the most common is reducing your resting period too much. You have to be mindful when reducing your rest period because you're cutting back on your power output and your ability to activate the entire range of fast twitch muscle fiber. There is no set time frame because there are too many variables, but as a general rule, you lift when you're recovered to give it your all. The last thing you want to do is go through the motions with light weights because you're not resting enough. Remember that just because it feels heavy when you're on your 45th repetition in a 2-minute period because you didn't rest enough doesn't mean that it really is. Because what you're really doing is activating your slow twitch muscle fibers or your endurance fibers. Always keep in mind that fast twitch muscle fibers are not known for endurance. In fact, endurance and size sit on opposite sides and you can't have both. So you have to choose one. And if you're trying to add more muscle mass and look like a sprinter and not a marathon runner, then your choice is clear. Another counterproductive workout intensity increasing technique that I see trainers and juiced up YouTube and Instagram models engage in is mixing up a bunch of exercises into one. One of the most popular exercises that they like to ruin is the bench press. What they do is they lift their legs in the air while they're doing the bench press so as to engage more core while working the chest. This kind of nonsense can not only hurt you, but will waste your time at the gym. What I mean is that if you want to perform any exercise, you need the proper foundation. And that foundation for all exercises starts from the ground up. And if you don't have a good foundation, then you can't put maximum effort and will definitely not engage your fast twitch muscle fibers and grow bigger muscles. Instead, do the exercises properly, and with the help of drop setting, supersetting, and negative repetitions, increase the intensity, activate as much fast twitch muscle fiber as you possibly can, and grow bigger muscles. Alright guys, this is all for this video on workout intensity. Hit the like and subscribe so you can be notified when I release next week's video on the third weightlifting principle that is essential to reaching your potential. See you next week.